Well, greetings, dear ones. We are, as always, very pleased to have this time to speak with all of you today. And we wish to say, even amongst all the tumult and intensity of the current moment in the US and elsewhere, that you are the ones energetically setting the tone for this moment on the planet. It's very simple to look at the media and to say, well, they're upset about this and they've got these images that are so upsetting and this person did that in government and this crowd, if this party would just disappear, everything would be wonderful. And we do speak on this upon occasion. It's certainly not the first time we've mentioned that there is a huge agenda afoot of the old power structure to keep people in separate categories and facing off against one another and upset about outer events, and then they're covered. They can do as they wish. Nobody's going to notice, nobody's going to report on it because they're too busy reporting on this big thing over here, this explosion or this anger or this shock or this mock event or this actual event that is upsetting people. And the networks will say, well, we've got to cover this, because obviously this is where people are right now. They're very upset. They're wondering what's going to become of us. And then what was really happening a bit under the surface or slightly behind closed doors gets ignored or not investigated, and this is part of the point. But beyond that, you may have asked yourself, looking at these images of these people in military uniform in Los Angeles, and they're facing down protesters as if these people were dangerous insurrectionists, which they are not for the most part. And yes, some young people and some who are imbalanced have taken advantage of the moment to add a lot of chaos, but some of them were instructed to do so. So this is not a matter of, well, these people are asking for trouble and they ought to be locked up, etc. Not at all. These are planned events, and they are created to keep the populace in fear, but beyond that, also to keep you in places of separation from one another. And it's very easy to look at those people, the soldiers, and get angry. It's very easy to look at the police officers and feel anger against them. Very easy to look at the people in D.C. who are either ordering out these military responses, which have only created problems, not solved them, or those who are silent and standing by and allowing it to happen. Doesn't matter the party you vote for. You might feel a little uncomfortable and a bit angry at the moment, maybe even fearful. And again, that is the whole point. That's why these events are planned. But let's go a little deeper, dear ones. Let's look at what the gentleman is saying here, where he says, you act like you never had love, and you want me to go without. As you look at people who are in a position where they seem to be calling forward an authoritarian sort of existence, not only for themselves and whatever that might bring them in their ego, they're also bringing it forward for the populace, for everyone. But this is a powerful, powerful phrase. You act like you never had love. And what that evokes, dear ones, is you're looking at any world leader supporting violence, supporting solving a so-called problem which they themselves created by sending in troops, torrents and torrents of troops, and bombs and bullets. They're looking at a problem they created intentionally because it was their interest to be able to call in the military to quote-unquote solve. Problem, agitation, solution. Very, very old equation. And you can look at these ones who are enacting them. And some of these issues, and some of them aren't real. They're solid holograms. But they've been cloned. And people are laughing about a tweet comment that came out recently about a president being a clone. And at first, when a new idea reaches people, it is dealt with in a state of ridicule. And then there's some anger and pushback, and then over time there's acceptance. Maybe this is real. But you can go beyond all that and look at whatever it is that animates these people in these positions of authority, quote unquote, and say to them inwardly, you act like you never had love. And from that place, dear ones, suddenly you don't see the man in the suit who supposedly wields so much power to determine the inner state of mind and heart of millions and millions of people, suddenly in that moment you see a little boy. Suddenly in that moment you see a child and a teenager, a young fellow who's broken. And why is it that they're broken? Except, yes, they never had love. And they expect everybody else to go without it. And a few lines down, Bono writes, we're one, but we're not the same. And then this absolutely beautiful line, we get to carry each other as one. And there's this huge, huge difference, isn't there, dear ones, between looking at somebody you don't really agree with and saying, well, I'm in opposition to that, or these people are nuts, or well, I just wish the whole thing would stop. They don't know what they're doing. They're taking zero responsibility. Can't we run these fools out of office, or can't we shake up these people so they don't vote for people like that anymore? Can't we fix the system of voter suppression and gerrymandering and fixing the machines and on and on and on? And yes, those are issues, but we would say you will stay and struggle if you live there. There are thoughts that might go through your mind, but we would not live there. This absolutely beautiful lyric, we get to carry each other. Absolutely heart-stopping in its way. And he gets into what sounds a bit cynical. Have you come here for forgiveness? Have you come to raise the dead? Have you come here to play Jesus to the lepers in your head? And of course he healed those with leprosy. And some say that he rose others from the dead and rose from the dead himself. And he lived in a state of forgiveness, which wasn't about, yes, you've done terrible things, but I'm going to overlook it. It wasn't about, yeah, this person is patently evil, but I guess I'll just send them love and everything will be okay. It wasn't about looking for outcomes. It wasn't about looking for immediate solutions. It wasn't about, I'll make it okay, the cruelty. It was about living in a state of grace in which there is the realization that there's no need for forgiveness when one is on a journey and everyone is in a place of experimentation. If someone does something against you, generally it's out of a sense of survival instinct or ignorance. Very often it's their ego egging them on, or some entity that long ago took over and is calling the shots from within them. We're one, but we're not the same. We hurt each other, then we do it again. You say, love is a temple, love a higher law. You ask me to enter, but then you make me crawl. And I can't be holding on to what you got when all you got is hurt. Very, very powerful. This is again something to say telepathically to the spirits and the souls and the consciousness of those who prefer the violence, who prefer the feeling of power, who prefer to see people crushed, who prefer to run the economy into the ground so that they later move in and just basically, as our writer says, clean up. I can't be holding on to what you got when all you got is hurt. Someone who has never known love, dear ones, lives in a state of constant pain. And if you're wondering, why does this one or that one, why are they always drunk or always high or always deluding themselves and distracting themselves with some strange sort of sexual practice or taking joy in putting people down and trying to deprive them of this and that? And again, doesn't matter what party, because both are tainted with corruption. And one could say that to any party in any country, almost unilaterally. But look at what the poet says next. One love, one blood, one life. You've got to do what you should. One life with each other. Sisters, brothers. And then he repeats, one life, but we're not the same. We get to carry each other. And he repeats it. Carry each other. And then several times he just sings the word one. And is this a comfortable place to be, dear ones? that you are one with the person who is exerting so much rage and feelings of painful loss, grief over having never been loved, rage over having never been loved, just desperate for attention, desperate for someone to accept them as they are. And you know people like that. You needn't look at a power position or place of government to find those people. You will hear of people who are very famous in the entertainment industry, perhaps, or famous artists or writers, whose self-esteem is very low, and they suffer from imposter syndrome every day. And this is very common. And probably everybody feels that at different times. And this is fine. Admit it to yourself. I don't feel that this is real, this ability that everybody says I have. I don't feel that I'm real. I'm not sure that I count. I have a voice, but I'm never sure of what I'm going to say or that it's the right thing to say. And that would be that's on the other end of the spectrum, the more humble side of I don't feel that I'm loved and accepted. And these ones also absolutely call forth the love and compassion and understanding of others. A little more tricky because they don't look as if they're in trouble, but they know they are. And these ones who enact the violence, who call in the troops when they are not necessary or create the situation for which the troops are supposedly a requirement, yes, that is your brother. Yes, that is some part of your consciousness which you have not yet awakened to. And that's why you're here on the planet at this time, and that's why you're looking at these scenes that you're seeing right now. And so as you heal those aspects of yourself, dear ones, that don't feel to be loved, you'll find it very, very much easier to extend love to those who in the past you would have judged and held separate from yourself, when in fact they can never be separate. They have literally come in asking you to love them. And Yeshua ben Yosef, known as Jesus of Nazareth, certainly understood that. Yes, indeed, he understood it. Did he speak with respect to women, even those considered to be of ill repute, when no decent Jewish man, let alone a rabbi, would do any such thing in his era? Yes, he did. Did he befriend the tax collector, whom everyone despised? Not surprisingly, yes, he did. Did he praise the poor widow who only gave 2 mites, not even equaling a penny at temple? Most assuredly. And praised her to those who would have looked down upon her and walked past her, brushed past her as if she didn't exist? Yes, indeed. All are one, but not the same. One love, one blood, one life. You got to do what you should. One life with each other. Sisters, brothers. And considering this lovely song and its powerful lyrics might assist you in only sending love to those who are clearly in desperate need of it. So take that person who you feel maybe you haven't vilified, maybe they vilified themselves. Get an image of them and send a line of light from your heart to theirs. And tell them inwardly, telepathically, clearly, no one loved you when you were a baby and a child and a young boy, but I'm going to send you love right now. And as you're doing that, dear ones, believe us, you're shifting your entire timeline to a higher level, and you're shifting the experience of human beings to a whole higher vibration. And now we can hear you saying, well, I'm just one person, but you're not. And that is the point. All are interconnected. And the more you can take a stand for love, even if you're at a demonstration, you remember the line of the Patti Smith song that the people have the power to redeem the work of fools. And we are letting you know right now that power is in your hands, but it begins not with blame and judgment and anger and separation. Let's move on from that, as tempting as it might be to stay there out of pure shock and compassion for those who are affected by the violence. If you can move out of that, now you come down to the poet's beautiful lines. One life, but we're not the same. We get to carry each other as one. And so we'll just quickly ask the higher selves if they have anything to share. They knew you would be listening, whether you're listening live or on replay. They're just reiterating, as the White Knights would say, this is just Maya, the Hindu word for illusion. Don't fall in, don't stare over the precipice so long that you pitch over it, fall over that cliff. Remain calm, find a calm place, sit under a tree, find a calm place and sit there. Give thanks for all you are and all you have. Give thanks for everything in the world right now, exactly as it is. Don't demand that it change so you feel better. And just say to dear Mother Earth and her people, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I love and accept you completely. We are one. Beautiful. Thank you to the higher selves, and thank you to all of you who have bravely come forward at this time. You could not be dissuaded. You had to be here to see all the excitement, and now you're here. And so remind yourselves often, I decided to be here now, and I take a stand for love. We are one. Many thanks, and much love, dear ones. Namaste.